Welcome back to Films Recapped. Today I will show you a neo-noir action thriller from 2004, called Collateral. Warning: spoilers ahead, watch out and enjoy. The film opens with a man arriving at LAX. In the crowd of the airport, he bumps into another man, which causes them both to drop their briefcases. As they are recovering from the collision, they grab the other's bag. Flash to a cab driver named Max making his rounds through the city. One of his customers for the evening is Annie Farrell, a federal prosecutor that works for the U.S. Attorney in the Central District of California. Stuck in traffic, they get to talking about their lives. They bond over the fact that neither seems particularly satisfied with their current lives, despite enjoying what they do. During the drive, the cabbie tells her that he's saving up to start his own limousine business. Once they arrive at Annie's office, she gives him her card. As he sits staring at the card, his next fare, the man from the airport. He says that his name is Vincent and that he's in Los Angeles for just one night to take care of a real estate deal. Impressed with Max's ability to accurately estimate drive times, Vincent offers him $600 to drive him around for the rest of the night. He has to make several stops and wants to have a driver that's good. Max initially refuses the offer, saying it's against the rules of the taxi company to do something like that. The promise of easy money is too good though, and he eventually agrees. As he waits for Vincent at the first stop, a corpse falls from the building and lands on his taxi. It is then that Vincent reveals that he's a hitman and the multiple stops he has to make throughout the evening are 5 targets. Obviously Max wants nothing more to do with this, but Vincent threatens to kill him if he doesn't help out. So, the two put the dead man in the trunk of the car and head towards Vincent's next victim. Shortly after they leave the apartment, another man arrives. It turns out that the dead man was an informant for the LAPD, and the man that came looking for him was an undercover narcotics officer named Ray Fanning. He calls for backup to come investigate the crime scene. On the way to the next stop, Max begins to lose his cool. To make things even worse, he is pulled over by a police car for having a smashed windshield. They tell him that the car should have already been taken to the depot to be fixed and that it's against the law for him to be carrying a passenger. They order him to get out of the car and to pop the trunk so they can search the vehicle. Obviously, this stresses Max out even more since the dead man is still there. Luckily for Max and Vincent, an active shooter call comes in and the police officers leave to deal with that before they are able to look through the trunk and find the corpse. Once they finally reach the second stop, Vincent zip ties Max's hands to the steering wheel and takes the keys. After Vincent goes up to do his job, Max calls out for help and finally gets the attention of a group of young men. 2 of them take Max's wallet and Vincent's briefcase. Before they can get too far away, Vincent shows back up and kills them. He takes back their belongings and leaves them dead in the alley. To try to cool Max's nerves, Vincent has him drive to a jazz club. The two have a drink or two and Vincent invites the owner, Daniel, to join them. He then reveals that Daniel is his third target, as he is supposed to testify against Vincent's client. Rather than instantly killing him, Vincent offers him a compromise. If he can answer a question correctly, Vincent will allow him to live, but he has to disappear. Despite giving the correct answer, Vincent still kills the man and tells Max that it wasn't thorough enough. Once they arrive back at the cab, Max's boss calls and tells him that his mom won't stop calling and asking for him. She's worried since he hasn't shown up for his nightly visit to her in the hospital. Vincent insists that Max goes to see her. By not going, Max would break his routine, thus marking that something is wrong and bringing attention to himself. That is something that neither man needs. Back at the first crime scene, Fanning's backup arrives. They are hesitant to believe that this was a murder since there's no body, and if it was, they're even more hesitant to take the case on. Since the dead man was working for a big-time drug dealer named Felix Reyes Torrena, it's technically the Fed's jurisdiction. Getting nothing from the other officers, Fanning leaves and goes to the hospital to view the bodies that have come in to see if any of them are his informant. At the hospital, Vincent tells Max that he should get flowers for his mom, which he reluctantly does. Then in the elevator, Max and Vincent encounter Fanning. They have a short conversation, and then go their separate ways, Max and Vincent to visit Max's mom, and Fanning to the morgue. In the morgue, Fanning doesn't find his man, but he does find Vincent's second victim, a criminal lawyer named Sylvester Clark that represented Fanning's informant. Also in the morgue are the 2 would-be robbers, and they have the same wound pattern as Sylvester. All of this tells Fanning that they're dealing with a professional. Max's mother tells her son how worried she's been about him all night. He introduces Vincent to his mother, Ida, and it's clear that Max has been lying to her about his work to get her approval. She believes that he's already started the limousine company that he's been dreaming of and that he's successful enough to drive around famous people. Listening to her brag about him to Vincent in what obviously is lies, Max becomes overwhelmed. He quickly leaves the room and, on a whim, takes Vincent's briefcase. Vincent chases after him and Max then throws the bag onto a freeway where it is destroyed by a semi-truck. Since the briefcase contained all of the information on Vincent's last 2 targets, he has to find a way to get that information again. He forces Max to take him to meet his client, the drug lord Felix Reyes-Torrena, to try and learn everything again. Vincent makes Max pose as him in order to stay anonymous. Max is successful in getting the information, but Reyes-Torrena says that Max will be killed if he doesn't get the job done. At this same time, Fanning becomes aware of Vincent's third victim. While looking for any connection between the dead men he's encountered tonight, and meets with an FBI agent named Frank Pedrosa. Pedrosa tells him that all 3 men are set to be witnesses in a grand jury trial against Reyes-Torrena that is set to begin the following morning. Now knowing this, the police examine the surveillance footage they have of Reyes-Torrena's base. They watch Max leave his cab with the smashed roof, enter and leave Reyes-Torrena's bar, get back in his taxi, and drive off. This makes Max their number 1 suspect, and they order that their final witness, a man named Peter Lim, be protected. With the information once again in hand, the 2 men go to a nightclub where Vincent's next target, who is in fact Peter Lim, should be. Though, they get more than they bargained for at the nightclub. Waiting for them are some hitmen sent by Reyes-Torrena. Vincent kills them, Lim, and Lim's bodyguards. The real Vincent ends up revealing himself to the FBI, and in the chaos that ensues, Fanning saves Max and gets him outside. Vincent, though, shoots and kills Fanning and makes Max drive him away. While they are escaping the scene, Max asks Vincent why he didn't just kill him and get another cabbie to take him. He then realizes that Vincent doesn't have a good answer to that. The 2 then throw insults at each other, and it's clear that Vincent has really gotten to him. He speeds through red lights and drives recklessly through downtown until he ultimately intentionally crashes his car. Vincent manages to escape before the police show up, but he leaves Max trapped. When the police do arrive, they see the corpse in the trunk and try to arrest him. While getting handcuffed, Max looks at Vincent's open laptop and sees that his final target is none other than Annie Farrell, Max's first fare of the night. He overpowers the officer with the gun that Vincent left in his cab and handcuffs him to the car. As he runs off, he tells the officer to call back up and to send them to Annie's office. Max sees someone standing on the street and takes their phone. He uses it to call Annie to try to warn her. He tells her about the other murders that happened that night and tells her that she has to call the police. Standing on a parking garage roof next to her office building, Max can see that Vincent is already in the building and that he has gotten a gun from a security guard. He rushes towards the building before it's too late. Vincent has Annie cornered and Max arrives just in time to shoot him. Max is no trained killer though, and only manages to wound him. Max and Annie take off running towards a metro train. Just when they think they're in the clear, they see that Vincent has managed to get on the train as well. He corners them and he and Max blindly shoot at each other in the dark. Wounded and shocked, Vincent falls into a seat. Max and Annie get off at the next stop as the metro takes a dead Vincent away. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.